In today's video, I am going to talk to you about my second failed business. So during my service here, I got thinking that, okay, what business can I do? What business can I start that I'll be earning some small money aside my uh, NYC allowance. So I got thinking that, okay, what can I do? I've learned how to make small chops, donuts, puff puff, samosas, and even cake before. I even had a certificate on that and all that. So I said, okay, why not I start a donut business? Like I make donuts, fresh donuts, and I sell. So I was like, okay, where am I going to take the donuts to? And I said, okay, I can be taking it to the weekly CDS, which happens on every Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And my own is on Wednesdays. So I was like, I can be taking it three times a week. So I started, I got the ingredients, the flour, the butter, margarine, the eggs and everything. I did all calculations and I priced my donut at the time at 100 naira per one donut because I believe I was making good donut, soft donut that with good ingredients. There was egg in it, there was milk, there was everything in it. So I started and I make the first batch and it was on my CDS day. I was wearing my khaki and I was holding this rubber. It was a transparent plastic rubber and you can see what is inside. So I left my house carrying it like I was feeling like, oh, can I really do this? So as I was walking, I started hearing me chin chin, me chin chin, me chin chin, like, and I was like, is that me? I have to just turn around and I saw this boy rushing to me and he was like, it won't be more than 10 years or so. And he was like, no one chin chin enki. Like, because many people, whatever small chops or whatever snacks you make, as long as it's with flour, they refer it to as chin chin. So I was correcting the boy that, okay, this is not chin chin, this is donut. And he was like, oh, but I don't care. He was like, how much is it? And I said 100 naira. And he was like, whoa, naira 30, 100 naira. I was like, so he said, okay, he cannot buy. So he was my first like failed customer, my first prospect customer. So he didn't buy, he left. And I was even tempted to like Erin give him one of the donut. I said, okay, taste it for yourself and see that this is a good donut, but I did not do it. So I left the boy and as I would continue walking to go and get keke, and these guys called me like, oh hey, copper, come, we want to buy your chin chin. I was like, okay, it's donut. They keep saying chin chin and I keep saying it's donut. Oh, how much? Oh, you're looking pretty, we're going to buy because you look pretty. And I was like, oh, but I want to sell my market, so which is donut. So I sold I think 3 pieces or so to them. I was happy, like some people. So I keep walking and another man stopped me. Oh, you're looking pretty. Give me one of this. I'm buying because you look pretty. And I was like, oh. So I sold 4 pieces before I even reached the CDS place. So I left, I went there and I started moving around with the rubber that, okay, so that people will see and call me. And okay, that particular day I was able to sell, I think, almost all the donuts. I think I have only 3 pieces or 4 pieces, I've forgotten sharp, left. So I came back, I was feeling very happy. And when I even came back, so someone bought 2 pieces from my compound. So like I was so happy that business is going to boom, everything is going to be good for me, that I sold, I was able to make my money and even small profit. So because I think later on I have only 2 donuts remaining, so I was like, yeah, it's a good business, it's a good business. So I was so happy. The second day, which is not my CDS day, but because there's an ongoing CDS, I have to go there. I make fresh, soft, delicious donuts and I left. I was wearing native because I was not wearing my khaki, I was wearing native. And as I was walking, like someone still called me like, oh hey, me chin chin. I was like, oof. here they comes again, me chin chin. I'm selling donut. So, but the person like, okay, you look pretty. Care Inachi, are you from where? Like, where are you coming from? So like the questions are more about me in person rather than what I'm selling. So I have to just, do you want to buy or not? And he bought one, which I know he was just buying. He really did not need the donut. He was just looking for excuse to talk to me, which I do not like. So I went to the secretariat to sell the donuts to core members. So as I was working, I was looking cute and I was working, and people, some of the core members were asking, and one of the official and the NYC official like called me. He was like, "Oh, you look pretty." And okay, how much is your donut? I said, okay, this is how much. And he was like, where are you from? You speak nice. And I said, I'm a co-member. And he's like, oh, that's nice. He was like, because there's so many girls selling things at the CDS, but like, I was looking cute and like, okay, I look a bit different from the regular girls that normally sell things. Like, so people were like, oh, and that day there was not much market. I did not really sell much. I think I barely make my money from the donut. So I went back and I was feeling discouraged, a bit discouraged. I was like, some days are like this, some days are so the following week I make fresh donuts, head to CDS. And okay, this guy, when one of the comment backs asked me that, okay, how much is your donut? I said 100 per one. Oh, it's expensive and all that. But they forgot that the flour is not cheap. I was using margarine, I was using egg, like all of these are not cheap. And I was like, it was not a regular donut. It was very soft. I used good ingredients and all that. So he later like, let me buy one. So he bought one, and he came back like, oh, I love the donuts. It's delicious. It's soft. I loved how like it's soft, and I love the flavor and all that, but it's really expensive. And I was like, oh, expensive things are made with expensive ingredients. But so that particular day, I did not really make much sale, and it hits me because I realized that there's so many donut sellers, and those donuts are sold at 15 naira, not 100 naira. So, and I know that they cannot make good donut as I'm making with and sell it as 15 naira, except if you're just mixing flour and water and sugar, which I am using egg, milk, and all the flavors that will make the donut good, and which is my mistake. But I was using personal ingredients, I was using personal taste to make good donut and selling to people that want to just eat donut, not really care about how delicious or how good the donut is. So I did not sell much. I felt discouraged. I think that particular week I did not make again. I did not go. I only make donuts once. So I left. So the third week I make donut, and that particular day only two people sold but bought the donut. I was like, oh, and I've been there for hours. And okay, before I forgot, okay, after the second week, I said, okay, how am I going to incorporate something else so that if one is not really going to buy donut, they're going to buy another thing. So I said, let me start selling boiled eggs, because I realized that at that time there was nobody selling boiled eggs at the CDS. So I talked to a friend of mine, and he took me to where I could get the eggs at retail price. So I got the eggs. I boiled 15 eggs on the first day. So I made that was on the third week. I made fresh donuts and there's boiled eggs, and I have this amazing sweet yaji that I pounded myself. So as I was walking, some people called me and they bought the eggs. So the eggs was now moving faster than the donut, and I was like, oh, maybe I can just stop this donut one and just concentrate on the egg. So the first day, the egg, I think I came back with only 3 eggs, and I was like, oh, it's a good business. So the following day, I went with donut and egg. So, and the egg, and I noticed that someone brought egg too, and I was like, "Ooh!" So I'm now having a competitor. Maybe I did not notice at first that there's someone selling egg, but I did not know. I When I made the decision to start selling boiled eggs, I did not see anybody coming with boiled egg. But just first day, and someone is there with boiled eggs, and I was like, okay, no problem, let me just carry on. So like there's this way that the people buying my things, aside the call members, like if I'm working with my things and like people call me, the first thing is like, I'm buying this thing because you look pretty. And I was like, oof, I don't like this. Just buy because you want to buy donut or because you want to buy egg. Don't buy because I look pretty. I don't like how that is making me feel. So the second time, okay, the egg, I only sold two donuts. I did not sell egg. So sorry, I sell more eggs, but I only sold two donuts, and I was panicking, and I was panicking that, oh, what is happening? This cannot happen. This cannot happen. Only two donuts, and the CDS has already ended and all that. So, and what happened is that day I did not go early because I woke up late. So, and you know, the donut, with donut, you have to prep it and wait for it to rise before you start frying. So, eventually, I make the donut late, and I went there late, and just two people bought the donut. I was feeling discouraged. And there's this woman that used to sell all this soft drink and everything, and she was like, maybe you should start selling your donut 15 naira. It will move fast because so many people are selling their donuts 15 naira. And I was like, oh, that means I have to sacrifice quality over quantity, I think. So I was like, oof, I can think of that. But for today, please, 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 someone should buy my donut. So later on, a friend of mine, it was actually a neighbor, and we also serve at the same PPA. So he called me that, did I have donut, because they are going to do this small get together and they need a refreshment. And I said, oof, thank God I have donuts. I have donut. So I said, yeah, I have donuts. So I left the CDS place and I went back home, which I packaged the donut to them. And that was how the donut was. I was able to sell those donuts. So the remaining eggs that I have, I was like, oof. The following day, I was not having the motivation to make any fresh donuts. And also, I was like, I cannot just take egg alone to the CDS. I felt demotivated. Like the motivation was not there. I felt discouraged. I was like, oh, is this business going to move? Like, what am I doing wrong and all that? So the remaining boiled eggs, I started eating them one by one. So remaining half a crate, which is 15. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll boil. So there was this particular day I boiled the eggs, but to go out of the house to be walking around with eggs, and the feeling like people might not even buy the eggs, or people will be like, yeah, I want to buy this egg because you look pretty. I felt discouraged, and those 15 eggs that I boiled, I put them inside my stew and I started enjoying it. So like later on I was like, okay, should I start making chin chin instead? So I went to this guy that has a shop around my area, and I was like, okay, can I be dropping my chin chin with you? And he said he has a regular person that is bringing him chin chin. I said, my own is different, and there's no really. He was reluctant, and he was like, oh, he cannot sell a chin chin of at 100 naira, so it has to be 50 naira. And I will sell to him at 40 naira. He will sell at 15 naira, but I will sell to him at 14 naira. And I was like, oof, selling it at 15 naira, it's already a loss. But selling it to him at 14 naira, and I've already made the change. So I have to like, oof, I cannot market this chin chin alone. So let me just take it to him. So I sold it to him at 14 naira per piece because I used to put it inside small nylon like that. So I put them inside nylon, and I packaged them, and I sold it to him at 14 naira. So there was a time I got motivated again. I said, let me start the donut at 15 naira. So I made the donut, and I like, okay, can you also sell these donuts to me? I took it to the guy, and he was like, I don't think, with donut it might spoil and all that, but you could just leave this one for me since you have already brought them. And I left it for him, and I still have to sell it to him at a discounted rate while he sold it at the initial price. And I was like, oh, this calculation is not balancing at all. So I have to just like, oh, this hawking donuts, this selling donut, this selling eggs is not really moving. Like, I'm getting it wrong. Like, it's not as I planned, and it's not as I see on my vision. That no, I thought this side hustle is going to make me make a lot of money. And but at the end of the day, I was running at loss and I was not getting right. And the feeling of people telling you that they are buying your things because you look pretty. You know how as a lady it's making you feel? It's a different thing if, okay, after buying, someone compliments you, oh, you look pretty and nice, oh, thank you. But they keep saying that they are buying. It's more like they don't need what I'm selling. They want to just form a connection. I remember there's someone that was asking for my number. I was like, I'm not going to give you. And has become my regular, and he stopped buying because I used to pass through his shop and all that. So I do not like what that feeling and how I'm feeling with all that. So I have to just stop and everything. And that was how I failed again on my second business. And at a point, I was like, oh, this business thing is not really for me. Maybe I should stop reading all this business book, all these motivational books, because they fill me with motivation, and I was not really having the grit, the strength, the resilience to really go deep into the business and withstand whatever situation or setbacks that I'm facing on the business. So I have to just stop the business at the time. So that was how I failed for the second time. But I got a few lessons, like from my experience from my first business to my second business. I got some lessons out of it. Really, it was not a waste of time. Even though I failed, I got a lot of lessons. And let me know in the comment section if you have any failed business experience like me, and what lessons you got out of it. And if you want to know how I got my first corporate job after service at the age of 28, please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you get to see more about my personal stories. Thank you. Bye bye.